I always loved yard sales, and when I saw one taking place in my neighborhood, I had to take a look. It was pretty typical: chipped old punch bowls, jigsaw puzzles, broken lawnmowers. Nothing worth buying, apart from the portrait. It was a big old anonymous oil painting of a man stood stoically before a stormy sea with a lighthouse in the background. His clothes were from a different age, but otherwise, he was me. He was my age, my build, had my hairstyle. I must have been admiring it for a good while, as I didn't notice the elderly proprietor appear beside me. "Sorta looks like you," she said plainly. $100. "Who is he?" I asked. "Don't know, don't care. Been in my attic since I was little. But that lighthouse is above Dundine Cove, near here," she replied. I thought it seemed familiar. I was transfixed by my doppelganger. His face was strangely inscrutable, like a blank canvas. "He's got a real Mona Lisa smile." "You buying it or not?" the seller spat. "I ain't getting any younger." I couldn't wait to show my fiancée, but she hated it, called it creepy, and sulked when I insisted on hanging the picture in our living room. Family and friends were similarly unimpressed when I invited them over to see it. "Dude's pouting like he's got a rod up his butt," said my pal Tony. "He looks so very cold, like he's got nobody," said my sister, shivering. I took a photo of myself stood before it, and got a few thousand shares on Twitter and Facebook. It was sort of a 9-day wonder. My workmates thought it was kind of funny that the guy in the portrait looked like me, but they also said that he looked cruel or bitter. "One of those petty jerks who can't wait to take offense," someone said. Undeterred, I took the portrait to an art expert to try to learn more. He was the stereotypical hoity-toity Brit. "Early 1800s, undoubtedly," he said. "Technically good, but heartless. The lighthouse suggests loneliness. Cliché. Bad art." His words somehow stung, and when he quoted a 5-figure sum for a pigment analysis, I stormed straight out of there. Besides, I'd already spent most of our savings repairing the ornate frame. My fiancée flipped out about this. She made me choose: the portrait or her. I called her bluff and haven't seen her since. My mom was furious about this, said the portrait had changed me. My friends sided with my ex and distanced themselves. Colleagues stopped inviting me for drinks. Sometimes as I stand gazing into the mysterious man's eyes, I recall the words spoken about him by those I used to know. "That's a man who knows the value of nothing," said my mom with a shudder. "He looks like someone who drove everyone away," said my fiancé. "I bet that soon after that portrait was finished, the miserable bastard jumped right off that cliff," said Tony, laughing wickedly.